You meet on a warm evening that smells faintly of espresso and rain, and everything feels possible. Yet somewhere under the laughter, a quiet question lingers. Can this be real, and will it last? The answer is not magic. It is building trust, choice by careful choice. Imagine the two of you at a corner table, sleeves rolled, talking about work, old friendships, and what you want from the next year. The words matter, but the pattern matters more. Do your actions match what you just promised about time, boundaries, and effort? Here at Whispered Hearts. English. We stay with that moment a little longer. We slow it down to notice the decisions that create safety, respect, and ease. Love grows when the reality of your daily life supports the hope in your voice. There's a small habit that signals you are serious. You say what you mean in a gentle way, and you mean what you say even when it is inconvenient. That quiet alignment becomes the first beam that holds the roof up. But there's something even quieter holding love together. It is the way you handle the tiny truths that most people edit out. You resist the urge to make yourself look better, and you choose to be exact instead. You might say, I'm running 10 minutes late because I left late, not traffic. You might add, I want to see you this weekend, and I also need 4 hours alone to recharge. Those simple sentences teach your partner they can relax around you. Have you noticed how your body softens when someone tells you the plain truth? The first few weeks can feel like you are walking on fresh snow. Every footprint is visible. Each message, each glance, and each plan shows your pattern. What would it look like if your pattern told the same story every day? There's a moment most couples miss. It is the 5-second window, after a small promise, when you can either follow through or tell yourself, it is nothing. If you choose follow through on the small things, you change everything. What small promise will you complete this week, no matter how busy it gets? Consistency is not grand. It is ordinary and unbelievably attractive. You text when you said you would, you show up when you said you would, and you repair it when you cannot. But there's a softer layer underneath consistency. Expectations are whispering in the background, and mismatched expectations can turn good people into unintentional villains. You need to bring those whispers into the light. You set time aside for the conversation people avoid because it feels too serious too soon. You ask what trust looks like in daily life, not in theory. You talk about phones, plans, money comfort, and how often you need check-ins. What would change if you both defined trust in plain, workable behaviors? A useful way to begin is with the week ahead. You share potential stress points and where you might be less responsive. Your partner shares theirs. Together, you choose one safeguard that prevents a misunderstanding before it starts. But there's a truth about closeness that surprises many couples. Even when you care deeply, conflict will visit. Trust is not the absence of friction, it is the presence of repair. When tension flares after a long commute and a missed call, you pause and keep the room safe. You name your part without defending it. You ask, do you want comfort or solutions first? And then you honor the answer. How do you usually signal that the storm is passing and the harbor is open again? A steady repair ritual turns hurt into learning. You might touch a shoulder, offer a glass of water, and say, I care about you more than being right. Then you revisit the moment later, when both of you have settled. Can you picture the exact words that would feel kind from you today? But there's one boundary that gives every other promise its power. It is the boundary you hold with yourself. When you keep your word to yourself, you are trustworthy to someone else. You protect your sleep and your values even when chemistry wants you to drift. You say no to what breaks your rhythm, including late-night scrolling that leaves you flat in the morning. Your steadiness makes affection feel less like a firework and more like a sunrise. Where do you need to honor your own line this week? A lot of people try to build trust by monitoring, not by maturing. They watch every notification and demand constant proof. It exhausts both of you and lowers the signal of what truly matters. But there's a different invitation that feels lighter and stronger. Vulnerability is not unloading every secret at once. It is sharing enough of your real self that your partner can love you accurately. You start with the edges. I get anxious when plans change last minute. I sometimes overwork because I'm afraid of failing. You say it calmly, like you are describing whether you have learned to carry. What would your partner know about you if you trusted them with one more honest inch? When you name the thing without drama, something soft opens. Your partner does not have to guess why you got quiet or why you pulled back on a sunny Saturday. They know, because you told them with care. Have you ever felt immediate relief after someone gave you the real map? But there's another piece that makes closeness feel safe over months, not just days. You begin to forecast the future together in small, friendly steps. No ultimatum, no rush. You pencil in shared Saturdays, agree on a monthly check-in over pancakes, and pick a simple trip that fits your budgets. The shared horizon is not grand yet, but it is visible. How far ahead do you want to see to feel secure without feeling trapped? On a bright summer evening, you sit on a porch and listen to cicadas under a purple sky. Your feet are bare on warm wood, and your breathing matches the easy rhythm of the neighborhood. Trust feels like that. It is the peace of knowing you are seen, understood, and considered. But seasons change, and love must adapt. In winter, your breath hangs in the crisp night as you walk back from the train, hands tucked into your coat. You are tired, and tenderness takes effort. This is where reliability becomes love's blanket. You text, "Got delayed, home at 8. Can we shift dinner to 9? You add, "I'm excited to hear about your day when I get in." Your partner exhale is immediate. Where could you add 2 clear sentences that keep evening nerves from fraying? Halfway through, take a breath with me. If you are new here, this is a gentle corner where we practice love that is sturdy and kind. In moments when life feels heavy, whispered hearts. English exists so you remember you are not alone, and you always have a next step. But there's a modern landscape that quietly tests everyone. Digital life blurs presence and attention. When you are always reachable, you are rarely truly with each other. You choose clarity over policing. You share what responsiveness means on work days versus rest days, and you do not apologize for deep focused time. You decide what you post, what you keep private, and why. What digital boundary would make your connection calmer this week? You agree that phones are tools, not third people in the room. During dinner, they live face down or in another space entirely. You taste the food, hear the fork on the plate, and see the person you chose. How quickly do small rituals like this melt the noise around you? But there's also the question of community. Trust becomes lighter when friendship networks are healthy. You do not ask one person to be your entire village. You keep the old friends who tell the truth with warmth. You welcome your partner into spaces where you are proud of who you are. You also protect time apart so individuality can breathe. What friendship habit could support the two of you without crowding the room? When conflict returns, because it will, you already have a plan. You slow down your words, lower your volume, and look for the non-verbal yes. You stop mid-argument to say, "I want to get this right with you." Do you want a hug or a 5-minute break? Repair is not a script, but it has ingredients. Safety first, ownership next, care, then curiosity. What did you hear me say, and what did I actually mean? When was the first moment you felt the distance begin? Which of these steps do you want to practice tonight? But there's a powerful exercise many couples overlook because it seems too simple. You choose one trust-building ritual that you repeat until it is automatic. Not perfect, not dramatic, just dependable. Maybe it is a 2-minute morning check-in before the rush. Maybe it is writing the next meeting on a shared calendar, the minute it is scheduled. Maybe it is a weekly walk at the local park under a canopy of oaks. Which small ritual would make your week smoother immediately? Think of trust like a savings account. Small deposits compound. Missed deposits are not disasters when you keep showing up. On a quiet spring morning, the window is cracked and the scent of rain drifts in. Coffee warms your hands, and the apartment hums with the dryer and a distant train. You ask each other, "How can I make your day 10% easier?" What answer would feel like a gift right now? But there's another layer that grows with time. Integrity shows up when nobody is watching. You do the kind thing for your partner when they are not in the room to thank you. You speak well of them to your friends. You shut down stories that cheapen your bond. You refuse to keep score, and you share credit easily. Where could you honor them in absentia this week? Trust is also seeing how the other person responds to your limits. You say, "I need Sunday morning to reset," and you do not apologize. They say, "I get anxious if we go a day without a check-in," and you do not roll your eyes. You meet in the middle, and both of you feel bigger, not smaller. But there's a question we all wonder and rarely ask aloud. How do you know you can truly rely on someone? Watch what they do with small power. When they can ghost, do they communicate? When they can impress strangers, do they protect your privacy? When they can win the argument, do they choose repair over dominance? Which of these moments have you already seen in this relationship? On a fall afternoon, you hike a trail speckled with orange leaves and dusty pine. You swap stories about the most honest teacher you ever had, or the friend who always shows up first to help you move. You notice that you want to be that person for each other. How would your partner describe you to someone who matters? But there's something sacred about naming your fear without letting it drive. You admit that building trust touches old bruises. You do not blame your partner for the history you carry, and you do not hide it either. You say, "If I flinch sometimes, it is not you." Here is how you can help me feel safe to come forward again. Your partner says, "Thank you for telling me. Would you like a slower pace tonight?" When you practice this, warmth returns faster. Arguments shorten. Joy lasts longer because it is not constantly interrupted by suspicion. Research shows these patterns can dramatically change the climate of a relationship over time. But there's a final challenge that turns good intentions into muscle. You choose one concrete promise for the next 7 days. You write it down, and you treat it like medicine, not suggestion. Maybe you will be on time to every plan this week, even if it means saying no to something else. Maybe you will share one honest fear each night and listen without fixing. Maybe you will set one phone-free hour after dinner and protect it like a favorite show. Which one will you claim right now? You can start tonight. Light a candle on the kitchen counter. Speak one truth cleanly. Choose one ritual and one repair line. Put it in your calendar like you would any important meeting. Then keep it, not because you are perfect, but because you are practicing. As this chapter closes, remember that love is not built in grand declarations. It is built in consistent care, clear expectations, and gentle repair. It is built in how you hold each other when plans fall apart, and in how you celebrate when they hold. Whispered Hearts. English is here for the courage it takes to love well in ordinary American days, from office commutes to grocery runs, from summer porches to winter sidewalks. If this conversation steadied you, tell us what you will try first. What's one habit that builds trust for you? Take one more breath with me. When the world moves fast, you can move with intention. The art is building trust not as a test, but as a daily craft. You begin where you are, with what you can carry today. You do not need perfect words. You need honest ones. You do not need a flawless plan. You need a plan you can keep. If you are listening on a late-night drive, or folding laundry while the dog snores on the couch, this is your invitation. Choose one promise. Keep it kindly. Watch how the room changes. And when you wonder how to hold on to this progress, return to the simple pattern that never fails. Tell the truth gently. Match your actions to your words. Repair early and often. Keep a little space for individuality so togetherness can breathe. In the end, the couples who last are not the luckiest. They are the most intentional. They practice small things until those things become who they are. That is how you are building trust, and how trust is building you. Close your eyes for a second and picture a future moment that feels peaceful. Maybe it is Sunday soup simmering while music plays low in the kitchen. Maybe it is a shared glance across a crowded room that says, "We are good." Hold that image. Then go make it real. Thank you for spending this time in reflection. If the ideas here opened something for you, pass them along to someone who needs a little steadiness. We are all beginners at the start of something worth keeping. And when you are ready to begin again tomorrow, bring courage, kindness, and one promise you will keep. Let the day teach you which habits deserve a permanent place in your life. This is how love grows plain and strong. This is how to keep building trust from the very first day. Whispered Hearts. English is grateful to be part of your journey. May your words be clear, your actions steady, and your repair quick. We are rooting for you,